Okay, today we're going to talk about area and perimeter. We've talked about area and perimeter before. We've definitely done problems with area and perimeter, but now we're going to officially, have a lesson on it. Okay, so we have our original rectangle. So let's talk about our original perimeter, right? So if we have 5 centimeters over here, we need to have 5 centimeters here. We have 7 centimeters here. We need to have 7 centimeters here. And then perimeter, right? We're going to add up all the sides. Okay, so for our original perimeter, we're going to have 7 plus 5 plus 7 plus 5, right? We're going to add them all up. So 7 plus 5 plus 7 plus 5, you can use a calculator. That's going to be 12 plus 12 is 24 centimeters. Make sure you include units, right? Original area, if we remember area, multiply to get inside part. Okay, so for area of a rectangle, we do length times width, right? So we're going to do 7 times 5, which equals 35. And then we need our units. And then you put a little square there. So you're going to get points off if you don't put the units. So make sure area is centimeters squared. Perimeter is just centimeters. Okay? So length times width. Okay, now we're going to scale factor. We're going to make this rectangle bigger. So this was like 13.2. We're going to scale factor by 2. So we're going to make this bigger rectangle. So this is now 7 times 2, which is 14 centimeters. And then this is going to be 5 times 2, which is 10 centimeters. But that makes that 14 centimeters and 10 centimeters. All right, so our new perimeter is going to be 14 plus 10 plus 14 plus 10. So this is 24 plus 24 is 48. And then our new area is going to be 14 times 10, which is 140 centimeters squared. Okay, so something to look at. When we went with our scale factor of 2, right? If we look at our perimeter went from 24 to 48. So that was times 2. But if we look at our original area, we went 35 to 140. So if we look at that, right? 140 divided by 35, that's 4. Right? So to get to our new area, we had to times it by 4. So when we're going from original perimeter to the new perimeter, we're going to multiply it by the scale. So times scale factor, right? So if I wanted to go from original perimeter to new perimeter, I just times it by 2, just like my scale. But my ratio of original area to similar area, we times it by scale factor squared, right? So if I look here, this is equal to 2 times 2. So 2 times 2 is 4. So when I'm doing my area, I do 35 times 4. Because think how centimeters squared. So we're going to do the scale factor squared. Okay, so this is going to take a little bit of practice to get used to. Okay, so let's start with a few problems. A rectangle with a perimeter of 30 centimeters is scaled up by a factor of 30. What is the new rectangle's perimeter? Right? So when we do perimeter, it's just times the scale factor. So perimeter is just times scale. Right? So we do 30 times 3 equals 90, and then we need our units. So make sure you have centimeters. Okay? A rectangle with an area of 20 centimeters squared is scaled up by a factor of 3. What is the new rectangle's area? So we have 20 times scale factor squared. So 3 squared. So that's 20. 3 squared is 9. 3 times 3. And so that equals 180 centimeters squared. All right. So if you need a refresher, right? A number squared is a number times itself, right? So 2 squared is 2 times 2 is 4. 3 squared is 3 times 3, which is 9. 4 squared is 4 times 4, which is 16. Okay, so when we're doing perimeter, we just have to multiply by scale. Perimeter is easy. When we're doing area, we have to do the original times the scale factor squared. Okay, so again, this takes practice. Make sure you understand the difference. Okay, now we want to do triangles. Okay, so the area of a triangle is going to be 1/2 times base times height. Okay, so let's look at this original triangle, right? We have 1/2 times base times height, right? 1/2 base height. So 1/2 times 12 is the same thing as dividing by 2. So 6 times 5, and then we get 30 feet. Oh, squared. I almost forgot the squared. Okay, and then the new area, let's say we are going to make this is going to be a way smaller, right? So they want it divided by 4. So we have 5 times 1 over 4 is 5 over 1. So 5 over 4. So this is 5 over 4. And then this 12 becomes 12 times 1 over 4 is the same thing as dividing by 4. So 12 divided by 4 is 3 feet. So my new area is going to be 1/2 times base times height. Right, we put that over 1. So we get 1 times 3 times 5 is 15. Oh, that's a 4 right there. And then 2 times 1 times 4 is 8. So it's 15 over 8 feet squared. You could also use a calculator. 15 divided by 8 is 1.875 feet squared. Okay, so how do we do that with the trick that we learned up here, right? When we're going from old area to new area, we're going to do 30 times 1 over 4 squared, right? So that would be 30 times 1 over 4 times 1 over 4, which is 30 over 1 times 1 over 16. So we get 30 over 16. So there's a few ways of doing this. This is pretty tricky, but honestly, you're just going to have to practice this one. Yeah, there's no other way to explain it. Try to remember this. If not, you can always just add it up anew again, right? If you don't remember the trick, you can just draw the picture and do it again. But you should try to remember the trick, right? So perimeter, you just times it by the scale. Area, you times it by the scale squared.